morning, guys. Today is a rainy day in Reykjavik, and this is our first day in the capital of Iceland, a city that I've wanted to see for such a long time. But due to Iceland being so far from the main European continent, I haven't really taken the time to visit. But now, finally here. Yesterday we arrived Iceland, Reykjavik, Keflavik airport at around 11, and we took an airport bus. This type of airport bus that connects Keflavik to Reykjavik and to the various hotels are very well coordinated, because it cost around 36. I think I paid 36 euro for a single one-way ticket. Since Iceland doesn't have any metro stations, and since the public transportation system is only operated by using bus, even though you go to a hotel which is situated a bit far from the city center or where the bus takes you, the airport bus takes you, you get these tickets, these colored tickets, depending on the hotel that you go to. We're gonna stay in Iceland for 3 full days, so we have a very tight program. We're gonna explore Reykjavik today. So one of those main attractions that you have to see while visiting Reykjavik is this Rainbow Street here. It's one of the landmarks, and as you can see, the whole street all the way down to the end there is fully decorated with rainbow colors. And especially now, since it's winter time, you have these Christmas decorations which are sparkling with lights, and it's just so beautiful to watch. Unfortunately, today is a very rainy day, so it won't be the perfect view with the snow in the background, but it still is cozy with those lights. And all the way down there, with these rainbow colors, you have the background of this beautiful HRI Church, which is the biggest church in all of Nordic countries. Iceland is generally a very expensive country for travelers due to various facts, including that they import most of the food from abroad, and also there was an economical crisis a few years back that made the economy very trembling. Due to this fact, you won't find many cheap restaurants in Iceland generally. But one recommendations that we have got from others is this restaurant here called 101 Reykjavik Street Food, and it's situated here. And here you have the Rainbow Street, which is a perfect location for such a restaurant. So we ordered something called traditional Icelandic meat soup. It cost 2,050 Icelandic kroner, which is approximately 14 euro. It's supposed to be filled with meat, veggies, and you get this type of light bread beside. Very typical Scandinavian style lunch. It's very good, but it's not unique at all if you have been to other Scandinavian countries. But of course, for new travelers who haven't been to other countries in Europe, it can be an interesting taste. The next thing you have to see when in Iceland is the harbor, with these breathtaking mountain views in the background. Unfortunately, can't see it so well because it's relatively foggy in the sky, and you have all these boats that are in the way, but that's just part of the scenery. You know, Iceland is, of course, as you know, an island nation that are famous for its fish and whale industry. They also eat sharks here, which is also a very unique thing. to these island nations, especially in the Atlantic coast. You know, Iceland is a country, an island country, depending very much on their fish industries. So of course, as you will see when you visit most of the Nordic countries, all these boats here that are driving out in the ocean to catch the fish in order to export abroad or domestically. And the next landmark that I want to show you is this metalish Viking ship that is just standing here by the harbor. Iceland was settled by the Vikings back in the 800 and 900. Before this time, or during this time of settlement, it was actually inhabited by Irish and Scottish monks. The Icelanders are descendants from Norway, Denmark, Scandinavia and generally, and also the UK. So Iceland was this isolated island that the Vikings were looking for, just to have a place to settle. So actually, Iceland in itself is just, it used to be an island of monks, where the Vikings from Scandinavia, especially Scandinavia, they were the rough ones, went and settled into when the Viking Empire, if you can call it like that, expanded even more. So today Iceland has a population of around 370,000 people. I checked it last time. Most of them are from Canada and US, but the next most are from Scandinavia, including Norway, Denmark and Sweden, which were the most barbaric Vikings. Vikings, just to explain you guys shortly, for those who doesn't know, were this group of barbarians. They're often called barbarians because of their style of raping women and doing a lot of violent stuff in order to take over territories. Today's Iceland are descendants from these type of people. Therefore, that this cool ship here is a perfect symbolization of Iceland's culture. It's just a very cozy atmosphere to be walking around in Reykjavik's main street, because you have all these houses, these triangle roofed houses, which is very Scandinavian style, very colorful houses, very strong colors. And the next and maybe most iconic landmark to see in Reykjavik is the Hrne Church, which is the one you see behind me. It was constructed in 1986, and the architect who were behind the architecture of the church said that the church look are supposed to resemble the glacier, the mountains and the rocky landscape of Iceland's nature. It's the largest church in all of Iceland. This is the main square of the church, and this building here, which is 75 meters tall, from whichever point you are in Reykjavik, as long as there is no buildings in the way, you will definitely see this building during the night time. So Iceland is an island nation situated in northwest part of Europe, approximately 3 hours from both Norway and UK. It's 337,000 people, where the majority of them are Icelandic. Around 70% of Icelandic people has Celtic blood. The Celts were the one that inhabited Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and also other parts of the Great British Isles. And as I told you earlier, the Vikings were settling down in Iceland eventually when they found out that this island here was settled by these Celtic monks. Iceland in itself is a volcanic eruptive island. It's basically built on volcanoes, and on the island you can also find the tectonic plate that meshes the North American and the Eurasian continent together. The Rainbow Street is actually a very important symbol of Iceland's gender equality and their LGBT acceptations. Iceland is one of the most open countries in Europe, and it's spreading LGBT rights everywhere in the country, and also trying to spread all these rights to the whole globe, which I think is wonderful. So this street here was opened after the LGBT parade. The reason it was opened was to symbolize that they are fully open for all LGBT rights. Another interesting fact, Iceland is the most gender equality country in all of Europe, and actually there is a law saying that men are not allowed to be paid more than women if they're doing the same job. So for example, if a man and a woman are working as nurses, they are obliged to be paid the same wage, which I think is a wonderful step for gender equality. A must visit when in Reykjavik. And of course, when you visit Reykjavik during the winter time, you can't avoid the Christmas market. Christmas markets is a very typical European thing, and I feel that almost all cities in Europe has Christmas market in each way. The biggest one is to be found in Tallinn, as far as I remember to have read, but you have big Christmas market in Brazil, in Hamburg, wherever you go in Europe, you definitely find Christmas markets. Also, you have this ice skating lake here where you can rent skates for 1,490 Icelandic kroner, which is approximately 10 euro for the amount of time that you're staying there. These places here that I've showed you is definitely some of the most tourist attractive places that Reykjavik has to offer.